Okay guys, today's video, I'm going to go through strategies that I would personally do right now as the market's shifting a little so I would not get burned on purchasing a home. There's about 5 or 6 things that I'm going to go through, and these are very, very important. And I really think that if you're in the market to purchase a home, this video will be very, very helpful. And I'm giving specific strategies that you can use and work with your agent on to make sure or ensure that you are getting a deal on a property. Okay, so first thing, the average days on market right now in Temecula and Murrieta is in between 40 and 50 days. Here is the issue with traditional appraisals or traditional pulling comps that you cannot rely on at this specific time. Usually and generally speaking, yes, you pull comps, there's a certain way to do it, and it's going to work for you. But in a market that we just don't know where it's going, what you have to do at this point is, number one, you have to look at pendings. Now, they don't carry as much weight as closed sales, of course, but what you should be able to do with your agent, or what your agent should do for you, is look in that community. Let's just say there's 5 pending homes. Have your agent call the listing agent on those homes and ask, are you selling at list price, or is it 20 grand below what the list price is? And this will really give you an up-to-date within like a current scope of what's going on in the market. In regards to closed sales, do not pull closed sales on a traditional appraisal. You can go back 6 months to a year. Do not do that. You need to be pulling closed comps within, at the longest, 30 days, preferably 10 to 15 days at this point. So that is just the valuation and one strategy of calling the listing agent on the pendings to really get a sense of what is fair in this market currently. Okay guys, so the next thing is, in an upward trajectory in a market, when people are bidding and there's bidding wars, a lot of people will settle on a home that ultimately in a downward market is going to be not very desirable. So what am I talking about this? When I mention this? So do not buy a home right now on a busy street unless it is a massive, massive discount. Don't buy something that doesn't have good curb appeal throughout the community. You want a community at this point where when you're driving through the community, everybody keeps up with their lawn. You can just tell that it's an upkept, really, really nice community. Number 3, do not, in my opinion, do not buy a home in this point in time that has a very high Melrose or special assessment tax. $4,500 a month for some of these new communities. I'm telling you, if we flatten out over the next 6 months to a year, $4,500 a year for special assessments and taxes is going to be many people are just going to figure that out really quick, and that is going to be one of the last communities that people are going to buy. Number 4, find something about the house that makes it unique. It doesn't have to be fully upgraded. It doesn't have to be a beautiful home, but does it have a view? Does it have something in the house that is a massive cost? Like, does it have a new roof? Or all the AC and the furnaces, were they just replaced? Figure something out that make that home special, that you can see in the future. Let's just say it's 4 to 5, 6 years from now, that will be advantageous to the next buyer coming in, because you don't know where the market's going, and if you just buy the cookie cutter basic home with no features and nothing special about it, it's just going to make it that much harder on a leveling off market or a downward trajectory market. Finally, I should have mentioned this earlier, make sure it's schools in California, school districts in California are very, very important. So buying, even if you don't have kids, find a home in a community that has really good schools, because generally speaking, when a buyer comes in from out of town with children, one of the top 3 things on their list is how's the school. So that can bump or boost a home in Southern California a lot, so make sure you do that as well. Okay, so now a strategy that I would do, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, but for me, at this point, I would find 5 or 6 homes that have that's something special, whether it's a view, whether it's a really nice community, whether it has, even if it has a pool but needs some work, paid off solar. I would find 4 to 5 of those homes, see how many, and do your research on them. Have they been on the market for 40 to 50 days? And then just throw offers at the homes. You don't know the situation of the seller. The worst that they can tell you is no. But if you see something that's been on the market for 40, 50 days, and let's just say it's listed at 700 and you throw an offer in at 770, 775, I bet you one of those homes are going to take, or one of those sellers is going to take your offer. And that just ensures you, if we do have a downtrend for a little bit, that you'll still have, you're not going to be absolutely burnt. In 6 months, it could be even, or you might even have equity if something turns around. Interest rates get lowered. You could end up within a year having $50,000 or $60,000 in equity, and that's how I would personally do it at this point. Again, it's not for everybody, but that's just something to think about in another strategy. Okay, and 2 final points. Are we coming into a market where you can ask for some closing costs? If you do not want the cash coming out of your bank account, which closing costs are generally going to cost, anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000, ask the seller to pay for those. So on the example I gave earlier, on a $700,000 home, offer $675,000. Well, maybe offer $685,000 and ask for $10,000 in closing costs, and that will really help you out, keeping the money in your bank account that you might want to use later on to, buy solar, fix up the pool, redo the backyard. I don't know, whatever it is that you need to have done on that home. It just, keeps the cash in your pocket, and it's going to be very easy at this point to get an appraisal in. So even, that 675, 685 offer on a home that's listed at 700,000, you don't have to worry about appraisals right now because they haven't caught up to what the market is. So you get an offer accepted at 685, 100% the appraisal is going to come in because there's probably comps at 730, 740 to some degree in some of these communities. And finally, you could look for properties that are listed from out of area agents. A lot of times they don't know what they're doing in way of, listing a property. They don't know the local market, and it truly is very, very local. So let's just talk about Temecula and Murrieta. There probably are areas of San Diego County right now that are 30 miles away that are still thriving and still getting multiple offers. So a lot of these out of area agents don't understand the local market. They're not here. So maybe pick a couple of those and lowball them and see what they say, and then justify it with your agent to the listing agent of why you offered what you are. And if you don't want to take our offer, fine, but good luck. So there you have it, guys. Some tips on how maybe you should look at purchasing a home now, and one strategy that I would use. So make sure you subscribe, and thank you for watching the video. Until next time.